Okay, so today we'll see about exceptions. Exceptions are nothing but the errors or um, there are minor problems occur while writing programs. Okay, and those are uh, those are not identified by programmer by itself. Okay, sometimes programmer may or the user may ignore or um, they may they may not see those error while writing programs. Okay, so to help such problem, okay, so almost all programming language have a concept of these exceptions. Okay, there are these. Mm, let us see some of those exceptions. Okay, so which occurs while doing some programming, okay, or writing program. So there are some errors or they may be major or minor according to the compiler or the runtime. So while first example, while writing code, suppose inside the IDE you are writing code, and you might have found some syntax error. Okay. So those error can be handled by the compiler itself. Okay. And the IDE itself has some mechanism to show those errors. Those are not particularly called as exceptions. Okay, so those problems or errors. Uh, okay, let us see. We want to try. Okay, those errors or the problems which occur in the program cannot be handled by programmers sometimes. Okay, or the other automation tools or the IDE itself or the other software. Okay, so such error are such are called as, yes, error is a another type of um, you can say um, the 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 defects or the problematic area, okay, in the Java program that can be handled by the error class. Error is a particular keyword, okay, and it is also class that is defined inside Java. So those that can handle some type of exceptions or the defect in the programs. Okay, so what are those errors? Like those are internal to the system or the program domain or the hardware domain. That may be virtual memory running out of memory. Okay, and other disks or the operating system related problem. Okay, those can be handled by the error class. So particularly in this diagram you can see throwable is a class. Okay, it has two child. One is error subclass, another is exception subclass. So throwable class handles all types of errors, exceptions, which are nothing but defects in the program. Okay, in this way you can understand those things. Okay, and yes, throwable also that can be extended by any other class. Okay, and error already we have discussed, those are internal to the program. Okay, so like memory leak exceptions or virtual memory running out of exception. There are other such type of exceptions which are handled by JVM itself. This is not the programmer concern. Now coming to those defects or the problematic issues that can be handled by programmer is just exception class. Exception class will handle all types of programmatic error or the at the program level error. So those are also divided into two subclass. One is checked exception and another is runtime exception. Now what is checked exception and runtime exception? Checked exception occur while you are compile the our Java file or the program. While you are compiling, those error occurs. What are those error? Okay, so one is and such example is file not found exception. This is a very good example. Suppose you are loading or accessing opening a file to read some of content. Suppose you are opening a text file. Okay, but the file doesn't exist in the path as described in the program. You write file open file dot open and you in the argument you give the path. Suppose in the path the file is not present, file is not there. So compiler will check those things at the compile time. That's why this is called as compile time error, compile time exception or checked exception. Now other type of exception is runtime exception. What is runtime exception means? You have written the program and you compile the program and there is no such error, no syntax error, no grammatical or semantic error. Okay, program is fine. Still there is some error, like array index out of bind exception, null pointer exception, divide by zero exception. So those are categorized into further exception. Divide by zero exception comes under arithmetic exception. So exception also has several subclass like arithmetic exception. Okay, and similarly array index of order exception. What do you mean array index of order exception? Suppose I have declared array with 5 or 10 elements in the array, and how do you declare? Int square bracket array name or reference is equal to new int, in the square bracket I have to declare the size, suppose 10. Now I will write a program. I want to access array that square bracket 11. So since the array contains only 10 elements, you are accessing element which is not there. This is beyond the limit of the array because the array can handle not element. So this will throw an error exception that is called as array index of bound exception. So these are the defects or the problematic issues come knowingly or unknowingly inside the program. So what happens? So this is all about exceptions. What are those types? Who can handle? Which class can handle all these things? Now let's go back to some theory. Okay. Okay, so what happens when exception occur? Suppose you have written three methods. Okay, simple example, 3 methods inside a single class. Okay, so for that one method call another method. Okay, so suppose the calling method doesn't have any error or any exception or problem, but the calling method, the method which is being called, have some error like divide by zero error. Okay, or array index of bound exception. So those error will affect the calling method. Okay. This is one issue. Another issue, there may be several other modules working simultaneously. Okay, suppose in one particular module or in one class, suppose there are 4 class, each class is assessing a file handling program. Okay, there are 10 such files, you want to assess all these files. Now in out of 10 files, suppose 1 or 2 files are missing, but what about the rest other 8 files? Okay, so suppose 2 class are assessing those the existing file, and other 2 class are assessing the file which are not present. Okay, since those 4 programs or 4 class they depend on each other, there is some dependency among themselves. So if class not found exception occurs, or that a defect will occur, that will severely affect the other programs, okay, which are not meant to be stopped. So your program will crash. So to rectify those issues, so we put around those issues around the exception handling program. We write a exception handling program so that we can handle those exception and redirect the program to the command to other instruction, so that other instruction or other program can run smoothly. There will be no issue, and the problem occurring issue will be handled with the exception, and this will give a warning to the user. So this is the overall idea of exception handling. So the some defect or the problem will not affect the other module or program. Okay, this is the main goal of the exception handling issue. Now we know why do you need this type of exception handling. So now how do you handle exception in Java? Okay, so you already know the different types of exception. One is compile time or checked, and another is runtime exception. Now we will handle those exceptions. How do you handle those exceptions? Okay, so in Java we will use try catch block. Okay, what do you mean try catch block? So let us see. Try catch block is. So there are several exceptions like number format exception, array index bound exception, divide by zero exception. Okay, this is a subclass of arithmetic exception. Then null pointer exception. So okay, so there is no such divide by zero. Okay, so it will throw arithmetic exception. Let us see. Null pointer exception, file not found exception. File not found exception is compile time exception, and other are runtime exception. Now how do you handle this exception in Java? So first of all, the instruction or the line where I am expecting the error will occur. Error may occur, error may not occur. Suppose I am accessing a file, so I will write file f is equal to new file, and then I will give the path inside the argument, then file dot open. I will call the method of the open. So I am expecting that the file, that there may be some issue. I don't know, I am not sure whether this will run. So I will put inside that block of code inside the try block. If error occurs, it will be handled in the catch block. So there is a catch block. We will see in detail. Go to next slide. Yes. This is the yes, try, catch, then final block. So you write in this way. So in the try block, you write the instructions or program line which are expected error may occur or may not occur. You have already seen the file not found exception. So that the file handling program you can write inside the try block. In the catch block will start with the this left parenthesis and right parenthesis. In between that we have to define the exception type. How do we declare? Exception and the reference now, here ex. Okay, so I can call this exception is the superclass of all the classes. I can specify those exception in the catch block. So I will write catch parenthesis arithmetic exception, or in our program file not found exception. Okay, then in that block, catch block represents open braces, left braces and right braces. In between that I will write my how can I handle. I want to write simply, I want to trace the issue. Where is the issue? So there is a method print track trace. So this will print all the methods which are invoking this method or this block. Okay, so that's why this calls as print track trace. Okay, so you will see more details how this can be handled at method level. Okay, so this is one way, or I can simply write a print the error message also. Okay, and then final block, this block there is no argument, simply you will use keyword finally. Okay, and inside left braces and right braces you write the code that will handle the exception. Okay, suppose in our case file not found exception, so that will be handled. Okay, and it will print the stack trace. Okay, now in the user end, so they want to see that they cannot understand those program details or those code, right? What will they do with this print message or stack trace? Okay, that those are not use of those users. Suppose client is a don't know much detail about this program, so for those they are interested only the message, what may be the cause. So simply I will print in the console that the file is not there is some issue with the file. Okay, so that message I can write inside final block, or I can give some command that go and put some file in those in this location. Those program I can write inside the final block. Okay, or I will give the message to other program module which is calling this method. So this is the overall way of how to handle the exception inside this inside the program. Okay, and this try, catch and finally try block can be written inside the method. Okay, or in the try block you put all the methods which are meant to get some defect or problematic issue. One is file not optional. Suppose I want to divide by 0. See the divide by 0 issue. Suppose I have taken an array of 10 numbers. In that array, suppose there is a number called the 0. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 9. So the user or the programmer may or may not know what is inside the array. Okay, in some cases they cannot access the details, element details inside the array, and they are dividing by suppose some other array or other values. The value they are getting is dynamic in nature, or it may be from user, or it may be from other program. Okay, so in that case, suppose you are using a app, mobile app, where you want to distribute, that is share app. So you have purchased some food, some material. Okay, or you have gone to cafeteria, you have purchased some food stuff. So now you want to share among the your friend what is the total price. Okay, so in this app, so you don't know what are the other price. So, okay, so you will put the details first, what the burger, juice or coffee, tea, like those items, and finally you have to divide by each of your friend's contribution. Okay, so your friend may not have contributed, so he or she may put some value like 0. So they are simply user. You and your friend are user. They don't know the program details, or they not may not know this much technical details. Okay, so he or she might put 0 in the input box. So what will happen when you divide by those total by this 0? The programmer will crash because there is no such thing as divide by 0. Okay, that will give the infinity value. This cannot be handled by the program itself. So the whole program or the app for that user may crash. So in order to stop that, or to check those exception or the defect, you will put those program inside the try block. Okay, so that exception will be handled by a special class that is called arithmetic exception. So in the case block, I will write arithmetic exception AEX, the reference name, space AEX, and I want to print the stack AEX print structures. Now finally, I will write in the finally block that some of your friend may have the wrong input or the wrong input. That's, you have to put some at least positive value. You cannot put 0. So those message I can put inside the final block. Okay, this is one case where the program is absolutely correct in terms of compile time, or syntax wise, or semantic wise, because the number divided by number is a valid, the division operation allows it, but division operation doesn't allow number divided by 0. So those type of special case, special problematic issue can be handled by this try catch and final block. Okay, so let us stop here and we will jump to the program. And yes, here you can say there is a few exception. Yes, so this is a main class, the exception test main. Okay, and I have created a method called method exception. Okay, so here it is throwing the exception itself, throw the exception, and inside that there is a try catch block, you can see, and I can write my code here. This is a special case, okay, where method itself throws the exception. We'll see in the next class. Okay, now try, I can write the code here. So what will be the value? Suppose int n divided by n. Okay, and okay, you have to give error 10, not 0. Okay, 0. Yes, so it will not throw if you compile. Okay, so it will not throw any error, but when you make a class and run this program, this will throw an exception. So now just simply check this, you will see this try and catch. Okay, here I am expecting that this may be arithmetic exception, so I can specify that exception as arithmetic exception, and I will write AEX, the reference name, and I will call the print stack stress. Okay, so when you run this, it will print the stack test. Now as you have seen, final block will add this code. Now whether there is exception occurs or not occur, the final block will be executed in the end. This try block that will be executed. If there is error, then catch block will be executed. Okay, then final block will be executed. Final block anyhow, if error, if there is exception or not exception, this will be always executed. This is one point you have to remember. Now system. Now what is the benefit? Already we have discussed, because this block may use it can be used as except way of a handling or the out of problem. Okay, you can give some warning message, you can give some alternative way of those things, you can write here. Now let us paint Intel in the final block. Okay, now run it. Okay, let us see here. This code is not okay, fine. So you may not write this, you don't need to write those, that will implicitly call extend exception. Okay, now you can write out of try catch family block. Okay, so here is public static void main string. Okay, yes. Now let us try to execute this one. Yes. So here you can see I am dividing a 0 value m. Okay, and the 10 divided by 0. So when this here the problem will occur. So this will catch by this exception, then it will show divided by 0, and it will print all the stack trace. Why do you need my stack? This will call all the method which are calling this method, this block, this instruction. So this main method is calling this, so that's why this will show that this method is coming, this method is calling. Now I have already said that this whatever the issue, whether error occurs or not occurs, final block will be always executed. So final block after this exception, this will print the stack trace, then it will print this final block statement in the final block. Now after executing all this statement, now command will go to 32, line number 32, and it will simply print out of try catch final block. Now the program will run like this. If you don't put try catch block, you try it yourself. Okay, the program will stop. Okay, and the command will go to the JVM instruction. Then so there may be severe. So this will not be printed. Okay, so you can try this try that thing because at the point of defect or the problem, the program will stop. Okay, at the line M20, since there is no try catch block, so simply the program halt will stop. In our case, this will not stop. This will be handled by the try catch block and final block also, and then it will go on executing other commands also. This is the advantage of using exception handler. This is called exception handling issue. Exception handling methods. Okay. So this you can try to other exception also, file not found exception, and you can try one by one. Other array of bound exception also, that you can try. Okay, and we'll stop here and we'll see in the next class.